Hey guys, it's Fight On 2016, and I'm one of the coaches at Beat the Bookie, which is an add-on product that kind of focuses around sports betting information and how that might apply to bets, as we have kind of models that predict each sport, as well as how it might affect kind of DFS performance. I kind of wanted to create a video, kind of show you a few games that have popped out from a betting perspective and how they've moved lines and kind of created possible spots that we can target in DFS that the average person is not on. And so I wanted to kind of explain kind of what the general things you're seeing are, and then kind of go into 2 or 3 games that are there for us to take advantage of from a DFS perspective. So just clicking on the first game, just for an example. So this is the Jets at the Giants. They're both Meadowland teams. As we can see in the top left, so this is kind of the betting activity, so we kind of see where the spread opened. So the Jets opened -2, which means that Vegas says the Jets should win the game by 2. And then they're currently sitting at -3, which means that the line has moved, so now they're heavier favorites, moving from supposed to win by 2 to supposed to win by 3. And so what we've seen is kind of, this can be seen kind of from the bet percentage and money percentage. So all of the bets that have accumulated on these teams, so 66% of the bets were on the Jets and 34% were on the Giants. And we can also look at how much money was placed on each team. So 69% of the money was on the Jets, and 31% of the money was on the Giants. So we know that we can kind of take a back seat here and kind of think about the type of action we want to be a part of, or that is important. And so if the money percentage is higher than the bet percentage, that means that there was more money placed per bet than on the other team. And what I enjoy from a betting perspective is following people that are willing to bet a lot of money on a game, because they usually know what they're doing because they've done this for a long time. There may be 1 or 2 people that have a lot of money and they want to spend it, but the majority of people who are betting more and more money are the people that know what they're doing. And so seeing a money percentage higher than a bet percentage is usually a good idea. And what it shows is that usually the line will move in that team's favor. So that's kind of how a betting line is, kind of how we can kind of analyze one. Now let's kind of go into a few betting spots that are good for a DFS perspective tonight. And the first one I want to go to was New England and Detroit. So immediately we can see that there was just a massive reversal in the line. So the line opened New England -3, and now currently sits Detroit -2.5. So there were 62% of the bets were on the Lions, but almost 80% of the money bet on this game was on the Lions. And what that shows is, we can see kind of here below, the green is how much money is placed on the team, and that's falling further and further down over the last 2 days for New England. And what that's caused is just massive line jump from New England -1.5 to where it sits at Detroit -2.5. And this massive jump means that there have been sharp bettors who have just been absolutely pounding the Lions. So from a DFS perspective, one way to approach this is to fade New England. Another way to approach it is to pick players off the Lions that are in good spots. The second thing from this game is the total. And so what we've seen from the total, if we just look above, is it started at 36.5 and it's fallen to 35.5. And we look at the bet percentage and the money percentage. 56% of the bets were on the under, and 74% of the money was on the under. So what that shows to me is that people are betting the under. People that have large amount of money are betting the under. So from a DFS perspective, all around, I don't want any part of the Patriots. I don't want their defense. I don't want their offense. I don't want anything. From Detroit, I want to consider their defense, being that they are going to be strong favorites, or that Vegas expects them, or sharps expect them to win by a larger percentage, and they expect a low-scoring game. So I definitely want to consider their defense. In terms of their offense, I think you can pick your spots on whether you want to play them. I think there are tons of teams on the slate, and the next two games that I will show you have significant money on the over that we'll want to target kind of in the majority of at least my lineups. And so the first of that game is the Chargers at the Cardinals. And so what we've seen is Arizona opened as 1.5 point favorites, and they currently sit at 3-point favorites. And here's kind of the big reason why I'm showing you this, is we're seeing about 50% of the bets are on the Cardinals, but almost 75% of the money is being bet on the Cardinals. And we've seen that kind of in the line movement. So the line movement, so the amount of money spent on the Chargers over the last day has fallen from about 60% to 25%. So over the last 24 hours, we've just seen a constant flow of money to the Cardinals, which has obviously caused the line to move from plus 2.5 to where it sits at plus 3 now. And so what we can take from this is that Arizona is in a good spot. Now let's look at the total to kind of see what's going on there. So if you look up here at the top, the total opened at 35 and currently sits at 38, and we've just seen a massive barrage on the over. So 72% of the bets were on the over, but 83% of the money was on the over. So we've just seen this steady rise. So this green chart shows how much money was bet on the over. And it's just constantly going up and up and up, which just means that there's been a constant flow. Even as the line has increased, we've still seen, and especially over the last 24 hours, just a constant flow of money on the over. And we like to see that, and I expect this game to actually be fairly high scoring, with Arizona being a strong play. And so fire up Kyler Murray, fire up that offense, play everyone, fade every defense in this game, and enjoy it. Your late night hammer, definitely from this game. Now, weirdly enough, the second game I kind of want to talk about the over is from the actual other late game, which is Denver and Seattle. And so we don't really see much from a spread perspective. Actually, we do see a lot from a spread perspective. So we've seen Seattle opened at -2, but the line is flipped to now Denver -2, with some pretty strong, sharp action on Denver. From an over-under perspective, we've seen it open 36, and now it's to 37. Again, most of the betting public was on the under, with 58% of the bets on the under, but 57% of the bets, 57% of the money bet was on the over. And that's what we like to see, is we like to see more high money wagers being bet on your particular bet. And so sharp bettors are thinking this game is going to be high scoring, and they're thinking that Denver, with a game under its belt, with a game under Drew Lock's belt, that he's going to come out and play well. And so we've seen, kind of looking at the chart, here is kind of Denver's money. So we've seen since kind of yesterday around noon, where they around 50% of the money was being bet on them, where no one had any idea, to this massive sharp steam move, which caused the line to drop from Denver +1 to Denver -2.5, all in one movement because of this massive jump right here. And we love to see that, and we should be targeting Denver wholly in this game. In terms of the total, we saw kind of in the last 24 hours, we've seen kind of a strong move to the over, which has resulted in this rise from 36 to 37. So overall, don't forget your late night hammers. We're going to see some pretty high scoring games come last. And as it's the first kind of strong, full schedule NFL game, people are going to want to play the early games. Get on